How would you feel about a car doing all the driving for you? Well, Damien O'Carroll experienced just this when he took the Tesla full self-drive vehicle for a spin in Auckland and is with us now. Damien, good morning.
Good morning.
So how long have you been driving the Tesla, or not driving the Tesla?
Not driving the Tesla, about a week I've had it for so far.
How's it going?
It has genuinely surprised me.
In what way?
In that I was very sceptical to begin with. I've driven cars that have got systems like this before, and I've driven Teslas before, and their systems have been fine, but I didn't see quite how that would translate into something that could completely drive itself. Also the fact that Tesla recently in its latest models has abandoned all sensors like radar and LiDAR and gone for a purely camera-based system. So it just uses cameras. And I was very sceptical of this, but I was very wrong. It is incredibly good.
And so all the cameras are checking, what if it's at night time?
Again, perfectly fine. It works well.
Okay. All right, so tell us how weird it is to sit in there and not do everything you instinctively want to do.
It's surprisingly not that weird, simply because what they've done is it uses machine learning and neural networks and a lot of AI heavy lifting. So that it's reading all the cameras, and it can make decisions super fast, but it actually leaves a pause, a human length pause. So that like if you're sitting in an intersection, it knows what's happening, it could just go, but you can actually look left, right, left yourself in the time that it takes to do that. So it actually puts you very much at ease. It's very natural feeling.
So it almost restricts itself a little bit from making quick decisions because it doesn't want us to get freaked out.
Yeah, basically.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's very, very smart.
What about the temptation to, because when I always remember when I was learning to drive and my mum in the passenger seat and her foot was going like this, even though there's no pedals over there on the brake instinctively. Are you doing that in the Tesla as it's driving, or?
No, you do have to step in occasionally. Technically it is a driver assist. And it does rely on the fact that the driver has to be in charge at all times and has to be aware. It monitors you as much as it monitors the outside of the car to make sure that you're paying attention. So if you look away, it'll shout at you. If you keep looking away, it'll pull over and stop.
Do we need to be in the driver's seat at all?
Yes.
Like legally?
Legally, yes, and the system will insist that you are there.
But one day we won't need to be?
Eventually. There's basically 6 levels of self-driving in cars. Level 0 is absolutely nothing. Level 1 is like your adaptive cruise control and your lane assist that's in most cars. This is technically a level 2 system, which means the driver has to monitor the situation and be ready to step in. The only commercially available level 3 systems that the public can buy are heavily restricted on where they can operate. I think Mercedes, BMW, and possibly Honda have systems in very restricted areas.
Right.
And of course, then you've got your Waymo and Uber robo-taxis in the States, and they're level 4, which means they can operate without a human in the driver's seat, but they're very restricted to a very small area of operation where it's fully mapped out.
I look forward to when we get to that point. I think, how long do you reckon before we get to that point here?
That's the big jump. That's the hardest thing to do, is to get it to that point.
Years and years.
Yeah, I've been saying next year for a decade now. So
hey, what about in Auckland? Did you had any run-ins, or did you have any problems? I understand there was something to do with a statue or a Mickey Mouse thing.
At one stage, where I live, there's a antique shop, and it's got a big sort of child-sized Mickey Mouse statue out the front. And the shop is in front of a pedestrian crossing. And as someone walked past the statue, the car recognised this child-sized shape and thought they might have been going out on the crossing, so it just slowed down and waited. So it's the very few occasions I actually had to intervene, and there's one intersection I got particularly confused with and tried to drive on the other side of the road initially, so I had to intervene there, drive across. Really? But every time I went through after that, it was fine, because it had learned from it.
If it's going to go, like let's say there's a crossing, you're going a good clip, and someone walks out on the road, does it automatically avoid them? But what if there's someone coming on the other side of the road? Because somebody was talking to me about ethics, like we're going to have to teach the cars ethics, right? So let's say there's somebody who's like 80,
Yep.
and then there's a mother with a pram.
Yeah.
Is the car going to decide I'd rather hit the old person than the mum?
That's sort of the big issue, basically, around it all. I don't know what it would do in that situation, to be fair. Given that it's heavily based on, it basically works the same way as the human brain does. It's computers, so it'll make a decision.
The old lady.
Possibly, I
Yeah,
don't know how sort of callous it is. Whether it'll just.
I mean, if it's a choice, it's terrible, but you know.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
All right.
I mean, it'll do its best to absolutely avoid everyone and stop.
It'll try and reverse, obviously, if it can, but yeah.